Welcome to the session. Topic of this session is feasibility studies and reports. And you are aware that the feasibility studies are very much important in order to prepare the good project, sound project in any field of the studies or in any field of the development, being the agriculture project, being the commercial project, being the social development project. The feasibility studies are very much important, and actually in the feasibility study we test the viability of the project in terms of the technical aspect, in terms of the economical aspect, in terms of the financial aspect, in terms of the availability of resources, income, in terms of the potential of the project. So, all these aspects actually we measure the feasibility of the study. We also measure the viability of the project in terms of the marketing aspect, the commercial aspect. So, all type of aspect actually we study, and then we develop the this feasibility studies and feasibility reports, and the basically the entrepreneur also they can decide whether accept the project or not. The bank or the finance institution, they actually they analyze the feasibility studies and report in order to take the decision whether to provide the finance or not. So, feasibility study actually also help in the execution of the project, and actually when we end the project also it also help in the evaluation of the project, the impact assessment of the projects. Is there any deviation which we find in the feasibility studies, and what is the actual the outcome of the project, so we can compare the information. So, the feasibility also help in the impact assessment or evaluation of the project. So, in this session basically we will be studying the feasibility studies, the component of the feasibility studies, the different types of the analysis, and then we will also learn about the feasibility reports, its components, the meaning, the format. So, all these aspects we will be learning in this session. The learning objective of this session is to explain the meaning of the feasibility study and feasibility study reports, and we will learn about the activities and tasks performed in the feasibility studies, and we will identify the components and format of the feasibility reports. So, these are the three learning objectives of this session. And let us understand what is the feasibility study, and before we understand what is the feasibility study, let us see what is the purpose of the feasibility study. Actually, the purpose of the feasibility study is to identify the likelihood of one or more solution meeting the stated project's goals and business requirements. So, there are many possibilities are there for the problem, for the potential solutions are there. So, here we can identify, we can analyze the likelihood which one solution is the better one, and what are the different requirement for each solution. So, we can do through this feasibility study, and then also we make sure that the proposed solution will deliver the desired outcomes. And actually this feasibility study provides the clarity in terms of identifying the objectives and what are the basic requirements in order to achieve the outcomes. So, and basically a number of the assessments we do in the feasibility studies, and this outcome of the feasibility study is basically it provides a confirmation or a confirmed solution for the implementation. So, what we should do actually for the project implementation, that type of information or data we get from the feasibility study. And basically the feasibility study involve a number of the exercises, and it is basically a exercise to involve the documenting each of the potential solutions to a particular problem, society problem or sector specific problem, or any other problems, and also the opportunities available for the solution of that particular problem. So, in the feasibility study we documents all the possible solution or the potential solutions, so that we can develop some good opportunity. And in any type of the business, or we conduct the feasibility study, or in any kind of project also we can conduct the feasibility study, and project team can also undertake the feasibility studies. And the feasibility study is the a critical part of the project life cycle, and starting identification of project to preparation of the project, then appraisal of the project, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation. In all this project life cycle, the feasibility study is serve the basic data or basic input for all part of all phases of the project life cycle. So it is basically the critical part of the project life cycle. And basically we undertake different kind of activities in the feasibility study, like we basically it is a need assessment of the project. So here basically what we do, we analyze the client's need, the donor needs or the government needs or the society needs or the beneficiary needs through the feasibility study. What is there is a need for a project. So basically we establish the need of the project through the conducting these feasibility studies. And there are different type of informations about the project participants, about the stakeholders. All this information we collect in the feasibility study. And we also analyze the requirements, different types of requirement in terms of the raw material, in terms of the physical resources, money requirement, the raw material requirement. So all types of requirement for conducting a project, we gather, we analyze in the feasibility study. And also we analyze the client's expectation, what actually the clients, the government, the sponsoring agency, or a research institution, or sometimes the participants, they want out of this project implementation. So we study basically the expected outcomes from the authorities, from the government side, from the any type of sponsoring agencies who are sanctioning our project. So their expectation we analyze in the feasibility studies. And here in the feasibility study, basically we propose some solutions, or we propose or we offer some solution to the problems of the society or the clients or the authorities. And actually in the feasibility studies, we finalize different components of the projects in consultation with the clients, or in consultation with the sponsors, like project goals, parameters, and distance. So what actually we want to achieve in the project, what are the different parameters, like the production product parameters, the income parameters, the cost efficiency parameters, the equality parameters. So we identify the parameters, and also we identify the constants in the project implementation. Then we also prepare a project budget, and also if there is a deviation or change is required in the project budget, we also frame the rule for the adjustment in the budget. Then we also frame the project time frames. So here we propose the project schedule also. And there is we also prepare a conceptual problem solution. It means any problems come, so what we will do. So there's a basic information is provided, the sound information is provided about the project in the project feasibility study. And we conduct different tasks, or we perform different tasks during the feasibility studies. In the feasibility studies, we estimate the project scopes, or we define the project scope in which areas, and what type of the target groups, and how many persons. And so all this project scope actually we defined in the feasibility studies. And we also identify the risk and benefits from the project activities. So what are the probable risks and what will be the benefits, so we estimate about them. And then here also we define the project structures, the organizations, the management, everything is done in the project feasibility studies. And we also plan the project in rough, not in fully or systematic, in a rough or broad outlines we prepare in the feasibility studies. And also prepare precisely about the next stage after the feasibility stage, like project preparation stage. And actually we prepare the precise cost of the next phase and approximate cost of the other phases. So here also we prepare the budget, and actually what will be the cost of the next phase, and then we also calculate the approximate cost of the other phases of the project. And functional development priority also we defined here. And then we also estimate the project risk, like how maybe how much the variation in the production, probable variation in the production, how much the probable variation in the price of the output. So we also estimate such type of information in the project feasibility study. And we prepare different types of document out of the feasibility study, like we prepare the feasibility reports, and this is the very important component when we conduct the feasibility studies. We should prepare a good feasibility reports which can be seen by the banks or financial agency or entrepreneur himself. So here basically we describe the proposed solution and list of a high level functional requirement, and then we also prepare a document on the project structure, the description of the project organization, the grassroots level, the middle level, the central level. So what type of organization, who will be implementing the projects, whether we need to develop a separate project teams, or we can implement the already available resources or departments. So that type of things we prepare in the project structure. Then we prepare the plan, we prepare the project schedule basically, and the time schedule also, and then we also identify the risk. So we prepare the list of the potential project risks and also the possibilities of their elimination. So how we can remove if there is any risk which are there, which are probable that it can happen. So we identify the risk and also we prepare the probable elimination procedures for the risk. When we prepare the feasibility report, actually we study the feasibility test or analysis. Different types of documents are prepared, and actually when we prepare the documents out of the feasibility study, we address and we analyze the locations of the project or availability of the raw material for the project also, and then we also see the availability of the natural resources, and we identify, we list the availability of the natural resources like water, power, gas, or any other land in case of agriculture. So we identify the location of and availability of the raw material as well as the natural resources, and actually we do the in-depth analysis, or we provide the in-depth detail of the projects or business to determine how it can be succeed. So here we mentions the things about the success of the projects, what are the things required for the success of the project or business, and actually feasibility studies, they serve as a feasible tool, a valuable tool for developing a successful project or business plan. So they provide the all basic information for preparing the business plan or project plan. And we gather different types of information which are presented in the feasibility studies, and actually we do the listing of all the things needed to make the project plan or business work. So all the things required to prepare the business plan or project project plan, we mentions in the we gather the information about them, and then we also identify the logistic and other problems or their solutions in the feasibility studies, and then we collect or we provide the information for solid foundation of developing the projects and business plans. So solid foundation, all basic requirement to form a project or developing a project. Then also we provide the cost effective way to set up the plant. So if we have to prepare some factory or some infrastructures, or we have to purchase some machinery, or so all these things. So how we can do in a cost effective, and all this cost effective way the study is very important, especially when we operating cost when the operating cost play important role or dominant role for the survival of the business, also for the survival of the project. And now we will study the different components of the feasibility study, and the most important the component when we talk about the feasibility is the description of the project and business. So here basically what are the product or services will be available, will be offered from the projects they will be delivered from the projects we mentioned about the product or the services of that business plan or project plan, and then we do the market feasibility studies, or as a part of the feasibility study here we describe the industry, about the industry support. We want to establish a new business for making some sauce, tomato sauce. So we will mention about the details of total industries, how many industries are there, what is the demand, and from where the raw material are available, what is the prospectus of this sauce making industry and food processing industry. So actually in the market feasibility we mention, or we describe about the industry, their current market situation, anticipated future market potential, then competitions, what are the different companies available, the sales projection also we do, and then what are the different potential buyers. So all these things are mentioned in the market feasibility. And then we have the technical feasibility also, because it is very important for the running of the projects or business. So here we mention of the technology selections, raw material availability, grid connectivity for power supply, the water availability, road and trail connectivity. So many factors are there in technical feasibility. And then financial viability also, how much startup capital is required, needed, and then source of the capitals, return on investment. So all these things we have to mention in the feasibility study as on the financial aspect. Then we have to mention about the economic feasibility, like not only the financial, we have to mention about the economic feasibility, social cost benefit analysis we have to do, and we have to look at the project from the larger social point of view, or sometimes total country perspective or nation perspective or community perspective. We have to see, we have to analyze that proposed project, and here focus is on the social cost and benefit, which are often different from its monetary cost and benefit. Then we also conduct the economic analysis, like the damage on the environment, due to the project, if any possible damage on the environment, like study of the environmental polluting industries like power, drug, chemicals, leather processing. These are the different industries which have some damage on the environment, so we have to provide the figure about them. And then we also mention about the cost of restoration measures to ensure that the damage is minimum. So the solution also is provided in the ecological aspect. Now we will move to the feasibility reports, and feasibility report is basically a detailed study of the profitability, technical feasibility, and overall viability of the projects. And we prepare the feasibility report for undertaking any business or for expansion of the existing one. And actually before going for the next stage of undertaking a business, we prepare the feasibility reports, and generally these reports are prepared by the prospective investor, entrepreneurs or businessmen, or sometimes we have the consultancy firms who charge basically for preparing the feasibility reports. They conduct the study and they submit the report to the investor, entrepreneur, or sometimes to the banks. And basically these feasibility reports help us in the decision making, whether to accept or reject the project or business plan. And actually the initial capital outlay and means of finances is also identified for the viable and acceptable projects. So actually if we found there is a good project, there is feasible project, there is a viable project, so initial cost or initial capital outlay, or from where we will get that capital outlay, that is also identified in the feasibility report. And there are different usage of the feasibility reports, like banks and other financial institutions. For them it is very much required. Actually the feasibility report, the basic information with respect to the proposed investment, and based on that basic information they take the decisions. And the feasibility report also enables the entrepreneur to accept or reject the projects, and based on the market potential, basically technical financial implication, they take the decisions. And here feasibility report play important role. The Feasibility report also assists the entrepreneur in developing future plan for the organization and for their expansion also, and serve the basics for measuring the performance of the proposed business. And actually there are fixed formats are there, but there is no identical components were found in the preparing the feasibility report. So there is no SS fixed format, but there is a certain components are critical, so which must include in the feasibility report. So there are different components when we prepare the feasibility reports, or these are the different typical formats we can say, which include the introductions about the project, about the business plan. Then we also include the description of the business and projects, prospects of that business, and introduction, basic introduction of that business and projects. Then we also include about the market considerations. So actually a preliminary evaluation is provided about the market in the feasibility reports, and then we also mention about the management teams or the project teams, so who will be undertaking the project in the field level for implementation. And then we also mention about the technical specification or the production plans in the feasibility report. Then we mention about the marketing plans, how will we conduct the marketing activity of the project, and the designing of the marketing activity, marketing strategies. Then we also examine the critical risks and problems in the feasibility report, so that should be available in the feasibility report. Then financial and economic plans should be mentioned, the total cost of the project, the benefit of the project, not only for the firm itself but also for the society as a whole also. And then in the last there is a evaluation of the total project report, so project proposed plan is there, and then there is a conclusion whether we should accept or whether we should reject. And so all these are mentioned in the project feasibility reports. And now we can sum up this session that feasibility study is done to assess the technical, marketing, financial, economic and ecological viability of the proposed project, and it helps in the preparation of a sound project proposal. And the feasibility studies basically they enable the entrepreneur who is the proposer of the project in terms of or sometimes the financial institutions who provide the finance to the entrepreneurs to take the decision about the acceptability of the project. And there is no fixed format of the feasibility reports, but it should include all critical information like the technical information, marketing information, financial viability, the project economic viability, risk, their solutions. All this critical information should be available in the feasibility reports. Thank you very much.